and welcome to my very loud kitchen. This is my dishwasher that's going right now, so we're probably going to do mainly a voiceover for this. I am going to be cooking two sort of desserts today. One might be a little bit later because I do have company coming over. As you can see, it's 4:14 p.m. I'm first going to be sharing with you guys my grandmother's cheesecake recipe with a sour cream topping. A lot of a lot of cheesecakes don't have a sour cream topping. I love it. I think that it sets itself apart from regular cheesecakes, and it's a recipe that we have been using for at least 20 years. My grandmother has been passed away now for about 11 years, and every time around the holiday season I like to bake the cheesecake either with my mom, or right now I can't because she tested positive for COVID, but she's fine, she's doing okay. Around the holiday season I like to cook the cheesecake, and it just kind of reminds me of my grandmother. It reminds me of, you know, just like sentimental, nostalgic times. So we are going to do that today. So what you're first going to want to do is preheat your oven to 375. Get that going, and we're first going to work on the cheesecake filling. Well, the cream cheese parts of the cheesecake filling. This is going to be a two-part bake for the pie, or for the cheesecake. First we're going to put the cream cheese filling and bake it, and then we're going to do the sour cream topping on top to bake it. So in order to get started on the cream cheese baking, the cream cheese filling, sorry I cannot talk, I'm going to use get you a nice bowl, and then you're going to need two of the 8-ounce cream cheeses that come in the bars. These ones that I got are the Philadelphia 1/3 less fat, because I'm just trying to reduce as much fat as I can. These are two 8-ounce squares or boxes, containers, whatever you want to call them. They're just the normal size that you get at your local grocery store. And we're going to blend that with a 1/2 cup of regular granulated sugar until it becomes smooth. Consistency should look okay. The consistency should look something like this. Nothing is gonna be like super thick and have a lot of peaks. After you've added the 1/2 cup of sugar and the 16 ounces of cream cheese, we're going to now blend in the vanilla and an egg. So you're gonna want 1 large egg. We're gonna add that in there, and then you're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and I only have a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm just gonna fill it up twice. I actually like a little extra vanilla, so I think I'm gonna do 1.5 teaspoons because I just like a little bit extra. We're going to just blend that. A spatula and scrape the sides. Incorporate that in there so none of the pieces get left behind. Okay, so now we're just going to add the other 2 eggs. This recipe does call for 3 eggs, so I'm just going to add these 2, and we're going to blend again now that everything is scraped into the pile. And you don't want to over mix it or mix it too high because you don't want to cause unnecessary air bubbles. And so it should look something like this, very, very liquidy. And it tastes good, but don't taste it though because all the raw eggs. Okay, so once that's done, you're gonna pour the mixture. You can either make your own graham cracker crust or you can buy one of these. I like to buy the 2 extra servings because it doesn't overflow the top, and my mom always tells me to buy this one because I just don't have the time to make my own crust. This one's pretty good, and then also this lid, you flip it over and this you flip over and it becomes the lid to your cheesecake, so that's also really cool. This one has kind of been through a little bit, but it'll be okay. So we're just going to pour the mixture in here. And then you're gonna want to put the pie, I don't know why I keep calling it a pie. You're gonna want to put the cheesecake on top of a cookie sheet. It's just gonna add more security, prevent further cracking of the graham cracker crust, and be a lot easier to take in and out of the oven. It should look something like this when you're done. You can also go ahead and tap it while it's in there. You're gonna want to put this in the oven for 25 minutes, and then we're gonna take it out and let it cool for 15 minutes. While that is baking, we're gonna go ahead and start on our sour cream topping, just to go ahead and get that out of the way. 16 ounces of sour cream. I just use a Daisy brand. You can get light if you want to. They were just sold out of the light cream cheese in this size at my store, so I just got the regular, I don't know why I'm calling it cream cheese, sour cream. They were sold out of the light sour cream in my store, so I just went ahead and bought the regular one, and plus it was on sale. To take our sour cream out, and then you're going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar and another teaspoon of vanilla, but you know me, it's gonna be a teaspoon and a half. Say hi to Oreo and Chase, because they're always in the kitchen whenever I'm cooking, especially Oreo. He's always here when I'm cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and do 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And then if you want to, you can use your hand mixer for this. I'm not. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a whisk and whisk this together. Okay, so the cheesecake is in the oven. Well, the cream cheese filling part of the cheesecake is in the oven. It still has 20 minutes left. Once you take that out of the oven, you're gonna raise your temperature in your oven from 375 to 400. And while you're allowing that temperature to increase, we're going to be letting the cream cheese filling cool for 15 minutes. After it's cooled for 15 minutes, we will then pour the sour cream topping on top of the cheesecake and put it back in the oven. No, 10 minutes. So the cheesecake is in the oven for 25. We take it out, let it cool for 15, raise the temperature to 400. Put the sour cream filling on top and let it bake for another 10 minutes. And then you're gonna wanna let it cool for approximately 2 to 4 hours before you either put it in the refrigerator or eat it. I would personally recommend you put it in the refrigerator and wait 6 to 8 hours before you eat it. Give the flavors all a chance to sort of marinate together and become one happy family before you partake in the extravagances of it. So I'll see you soon. Okay, so this is how the cheesecake is looking. It's a little bit brown on the sides. I had to cook mine for 5 extra minutes. Probably could have done 3 extra minutes. What you are looking for when this is done is when you jiggle the cake, you don't want it to be super I burned myself. You don't want it to be super jiggly on the inside, and mine was like super jiggly here. As you can see, it is actually starting to deflate right now, so you will have this extra space around to pour the sour cream filling. I went ahead and turned my oven up to 400 degrees, if you can see that. And we're gonna go ahead and let this cool for 15 minutes, and then we will pour my sour cream filling on top. I think I am going to add some chocolate chips into my sour cream filling. These are just some mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. I think I'm gonna add like 1/8 a cup or 1/4 a cup. Probably not 1/4 a cup, probably like 1/8 a cup in here. I didn't want to add it right away because these can sink to the bottom if you wait, so I think I'm just gonna add them right beforehand, and I will show you guys how that looks. Okay, So once your cheesecake is cooled off enough, it will look like this. As you can see, it has deflated quite a bit. I'm trying to get so you guys can see me, but it's becoming a bit of a problem astronomically. Some of these chocolate chips on. I decided I'm gonna pour them on instead of mixing it in, and then we'll have like a layer of chocolate chips on here, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm just going to, I'm not gonna measure. I'm just going to sprinkle some in here. It's not gonna be like a whole layer of chocolate, but it is just gonna give a little bit of a chocolate accent to the cheesecake. Something like this. And now we're just going to pour that that sour cream filling on top. And I'm just going to spread this around. Try to get it as even as I can and all the way to the edges. And then we're going to put this back in the oven now that it's at 400 for an additional 10 minutes. I will show you guys how it looks when it comes out, and it might be, sorry if I have makeup off on my nose. I just had to stop at the store to get butter and I had to put a mask on, so. Anyways, I will show you guys how it looks when it is done. It's 5 o'clock. I'm probably just gonna let it cool on the stove top for like 30 minutes and then put it in the refrigerator for a couple hours so I can maybe eat a slice tonight and show you guys how it looks. I'm super excited about it. Now let's move into the banana bread. And guess what else we're putting in the banana bread? Okay, so literally the only reason why I'm making these is because I put a banana in my breakfast smoothie every day, but I haven't been on my normal routine lately, so I haven't been making breakfast smoothies, and these are how my bananas are looking. So the first thing I'm gonna do is peel these bananas and put them in a bowl to prep for mashing. Also, a little tip, if your oven is on, which even if you're not cooking anything right now like I am, you should have it preheated already. If you forget to take your butter out, just take your stick of butter and put it on top of your stove and it will help get it soft. This has already gotten soft already. Okay, so for this recipe, you're going to need, obviously, bananas. You're gonna need 2 bowls at least. I have 2 here, different sizes. You're going to need some baking soda, which I have here. Some butter. You should get unsalted, but I got salted, so I'm just not going to add salt like my recipe says and hope that that mellows things out. You're gonna need some vanilla, 2 eggs, light brown sugar. So I have 2 here. I literally have light brown sugar, or you can use a brown sugar replacer. I'm not gonna use a replacer today. I'm gonna use the actual light brown sugar. And then since we're being fancy, you're also just gonna need, which is optional, some semi-sweet chocolate chips. Again, this is optional. You don't need to put this. I think I'm just gonna sprinkle these on top, to be honest. First thing you're gonna wanna do is peel your bananas and put them in a bowl so you can start the mashing process. So if you have a potato masher, go ahead and use that. I don't have that. I'm just gonna use this sort of mashing device, but if you have like one that makes mashed potatoes, then go ahead and use that. Or you can use a fork. This is just a little bit faster. Oh, I see a little. We don't want that. So this is how our cheesecake is looking. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out to cool. And I'm gonna change my temperature to 350 degrees for the banana bread. Okay, that looks good enough to me. Let's go ahead and prep our pan. You can use butter for this, but since I have to use real butter and real brown sugar, I'm just gonna go ahead and use some baking spray. And I'm not going to be doing the traditional loaf. I'm gonna be using a 9 by 9 pan. It's gonna come out more like a cake than a loaf. Make sure you get the sides really good. So in a large bowl, we're going to go ahead and mix 2 2/3 cups of brown sugar and melted butter until it's well combined. And for this, you're probably gonna wanna use your electric mixer. For those of you who don't know, 1 stick of butter is basically a 1/2 cup. Yeah, so those of you guys don't know, 8 tablespoons is a 1/2 cup, which is basically 1 stick of butter. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in a bowl and melt this in the microwave. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my butter for 20 seconds, and this is how it looks. I'm just going to go ahead and add that in our bowl. And then we need 2/3 cup of brown sugar. They said they want it loosely packed, so that looks loosely packed to me. That's 1/3. And this is, I mean, it's a little bit over, but who cares? I really don't. The more butter, the better. Together. I guess, I don't know if we were recording, but it was a little like this and I added the eggs. I guess we weren't recording. So now we add the eggs, vanilla, and the banana. So we added the 2 eggs already. Now you're gonna wanna add 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla. So we're going to add that. And that's the rest of my vanilla. I'm gonna have to buy some more. And then we're gonna add in the rest of the banana into here. And then we're just gonna whisk that until it all looks combined. I forgot to say you're also gonna need flour during this, which I guess I thought was common, but this is gonna be 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And then in here you're gonna mix your salt and your baking soda. So I'm just gonna mix 1 teaspoon of baking soda because we're not doing the salt since the salt is in the butter. And I'm just gonna give that a little bit of a stir with my teaspoon thing here because it's just flour mixing in with baking soda. So now we're going to mix the flour and baking soda in with our banana mixture. You're gonna wanna use another spatula for this because you're gonna wanna kind of fold these things in. I kind of wish I used a bigger bowl, but we're just gonna see. We're just gonna mix all of that in there. And you're gonna kind of like fold it in. We're just going to fold this around until it gets to a consistency. And just keep it moving. Do not use a hand mixer for this. I'm just doing mainly folding motions just to get everything well combined. You just don't want to see any pockets of flour, and that's what I'm looking for now because I feel like I got it pretty consistent there. Ooh, look at that. That looks pretty good to me. We're just going to pour this into our pan. And you can use a loaf pan if you want. I just didn't have one, and I saw this recipe on how to use it in a 9x9, so I decided to go that route. Obviously, you can go the traditional banana bread route if you want. Now, I'm getting this recipe from celebritysweets.com under easy banana bread, and this recipe calls for 1/4 of brown sugar to sprinkle on top. So we are going to do that, and I'm also going to incorporate the chocolate chips in as well. So I have my 1/4 cup of brown sugar here, and I'm just going to sprinkle that. And you can do as little or as much brown sugar as you want. I think I'm not gonna do the whole 1/4 cup just because we're also doing chocolate chips. So I think that looks good enough for me, which was probably about 1/8 cup. And now let's go ahead and sprinkle some chocolate chips on top. You can also use milk chocolate if you don't like semi-sweet. I think the semi-sweet one just tastes a little bit more chocolatey to me. So, and I like the minis because it just gives you like a little bit of chocolate in each bite. So okay, now we're going to put this in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. You're gonna want to rotate this halfway through. So put it in like this, and then you're gonna, I don't know. It says that. Am I gonna rotate it? Probably not. You will know once the banana bread is done when you stick a toothpick, or if you don't have one like me, if you stick a knife through it and nothing attaches to it, similar to like when you're baking a cake. And I'll see you guys in 20 to 25 minutes. Look at how beautiful. Do a taste test. You get that crunch from the brown sugar. You get that chocolate from the little chocolate chips in there. The corner is nice and crusty. Not me. Really good. Nice and dense, nice and spongy.